If you try to sound like other guys, you're going to become like a watered down wine spritzer. But if you're truly yourself, you'll be a shot of Jameson. If she likes JMO, she's going to catch a buzz off you.
Most dating coaches tell men to be confident, and Connell Barrett tells them to stop interviewing women like they're hiring for a job. And over a decade of coaching, more than 20 countries, a book with Simon and Schuster, today we'll talk about the worst dating advice we've ever heard on the internet and the part of his own love story he hasn't said out loud. Connell, welcome to Before We Cheers.
Zach, thanks for having me.
Is this a particular high season for when people really start dating again, or is cuffing season a real thing, or uncuffing season rather, around now?
It's getting busier for me because a lot of men work with me because they want to meet women in real life. They want to approach. And it's hard to do that when it's cold and windy and everybody is trapped inside cuffing. I think dating is 12 months out of the year. There's not really a downside, like a lighter time. But yeah, once May and June come, I say to my guys, let's go meet some women.
As a professional dating coach, primarily for straight men, you're telling guys that, looks, money, height, all that don't matter. What actually does matter? And how would you rank those things that matter?
The most important thing is to have confidence in yourself and certainty in the value you can bring a woman. If that foundation of confidence isn't there, then it's hard for any woman to look at a guy and say, oh, I want him to be my man.
Yeah.
Because if you don't believe in yourself, then how can she believe in you? My very first coach I ever hired said the day before I went to take this approaching boot camp in 2009.
Approaching boot camp.
Okay. First ever coach. I paid him $3,000 to tell me to go approach women all night. And at that time in the world of dating, there was a lot of stuff about negging, pickup lines.
Wait, sorry, what was that word?
The negging.
What's negging?
Negging is an old school pickup artist term from the mid 00s, popularized in a book called The Game by Neil Strauss.
Yes.
And negging was a sort of like a backhanded compliment designed to make a woman feel a little bit insecure about herself so she would like that guy. So for example, old school neg would be something like, hey, you have a really nice really nice smile. Did you wear braces? Or, oh, I really like your teeth. I'm a big Bugs Bunny fan. People said this bullshit.
This shit worked.
I'm not saying it worked, but people were using it.
As you're talking, I'm remembering there was some reality show called The Pickup Artist.
Sure. Mystery. He was in the book, The Game.
Okay.
So I read The Game, and it's the late 00s, and I finally hire a coach because at the time, I'm this introverted, insecure, not confident guy, very little dating experience, terrified to approach women. I messaged him a day before the program and I said, hey, I've got these cool lines already. I've got these cool glasses I'm going to wear. They light up, the neon. I don't know. That's what people were doing. And he said, don't worry about that stuff.
Yeah.
Women like you for you. I was like, who wrote that? My mom?
Yeah.
But he meant it. And I really appreciate that because that is essentially the message I want to give men, which is that you're enough. Mm-hmm. Women will like you for you as long as they meet the real you, as long as you can be confident in yourself to a degree and vulnerable and genuine, because authenticity, everybody is 1 in 8 billion. If you try to sound like other guys, you're going to become like a watered down wine spritzer. But if you're truly yourself, you'll be a shot of Jameson or whatever that straight shot is. Not everybody wants Jameson, but man, if she likes JMO, she's going to catch a buzz off you. Is that your sponsor here?
That's but maybe they will be someday. No, but I
and I'm sober.
No, yeah. Listen,
I used to drink a lot of Jameson.
Yeah, I love that. Does that apply to? I would assume that applies to before dates and during dates and maybe even the communication thereafter. Right?
Oh yeah,
that confidence. Yeah,
yeah. You want to. I still do improv and perform comedy improv on stage. And I used to tell my clients, if you've ever performed in musical theater, don't be the performer, be the guy who's nervous right before the curtain goes up. That's the person to show her because that is your most elementally true you. And that's really bracing in a positive way to people because you're like, oh my God, that's so real.
we talk a lot about, like, actually on my show, about the feeling before like walking into certain types of rooms, you know, and even like I've had some nightlife impresarios on the show who say that even still for them at this point in their lives, the most exciting part of the night isn't even the club itself. It's that feeling of walking into like that room of excitement like that.
Ooh, yeah. And that's that is the scariest moment for most single men. The moment you walk into the first date, or if you're really brave, the moment you walk up to the woman you've never talked to before and you're actually approaching a woman, that is so scary, but also you feel so alive when you do it.
You have a bit on TikTok that you call like interview mode, where you're talking about guys who like they're on a date and it seemed to interrogate women instead of actually connecting with them. Did that come from something you observed or experienced?
Interview mode is a very common sticking point where men don't know what to say. They're not sure they're going to say the right or wrong thing. So they fall back into asking a woman question after question after question.
Because they're afraid of dead air.
Afraid of dead air. And they don't know what the right thing, they don't know how to flirt. They don't know what to say. They're not sure that they don't know how to be themselves and express and connect. So, but they can't have dead air. So got to do something. So it's like, so where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to high school? Oh, what about college? Where'd you go to college? How old were you when you moved to New York? Who killed JFK? Did that same person kill Jimmy Hoffa? Yeah. Is Wyoming real? Do you think Kid Rock is a genius? And he's just hitting her with question after question. Yeah. And a woman feels like she's in the interrogation room at the NYPD. Yeah. It's like not really the way to make a spark happen.
Right. What do you say to guys who you've seen do that before, who can't seem to like sit in their own skin for a bit?
You can give yourself a little exercise that I do with my clients. You can give this to yourself. On a date or walk up to a woman at a bar and you are not allowed to ask any questions for 2 minutes. It's an improv exercise I learned when I took improv classes, because in improv, people ask questions instead of saying yes and. They say yes and they ask. And it's a crazy fun exercise where I had a client and we were in Asbury Park. He fell into interview mode. So I said, okay, we're going to walk up to these two women at a cool little beachside bar. And I said, no questions allowed for 2 minutes. And he walks over to these women and he starts to ask and he corrects mid-sentence. He's like, so ladies, how your night's going? Well, I can tell. He started making statements. And he started forcing himself to offer something. My philosophy, other than authenticity, is just give, and then ask for what you want. Share, offer, give. That gets her reacting to you, lets her deal with something. She might love it, she might not, but at least you're getting a response from that woman, and then now two people are communicating instead of interviewing.
You've called yourself like a friend zone Hall of Famer. How does one get out of the friend zone? It's like an escape room that you can't figure out.
I lived in the friend zone. Yeah. I owned real estate there. I was a friend zone oligarch. I was the Putin of friend zone.
Friend zone Kremlin.
Here's my definition of the friend zone.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with being friends with a woman. Hell yeah. Be friends with a lot of people. Have good friends, male and female. My definition of the friend zone is she wants to like you. You like her. She wants to like you, but she can't feel it. Why can't she feel it? Because you're not saying or doing anything flirtatious. You're treating her like she's your friend or sister or niece, instead of looking her in the eye on a date and saying something like, authentically saying, you know what's really sexy about you? It's the way you giggle. You have the most feminine, beautiful, lilting giggle. It just gives me the feels. Now, that may or may not be what she wants to hear. It's not bad. But I promise you, she's not going to say, I don't know how I feel about this guy. That's going to help her get to a feeling about you. On my first date with my girlfriend, Jess, I was really honest with her. She's on my rooftop. We had a quick drink at a bar, and then we went for a nightcap on my rooftop, and she's so witty. She's so funny. She's funnier than me. And I said, I got to tell you, you know what's so sexy about you is you're so quick-witted and funny. I'm just trying to keep up with you. And she later told me that made her, melt a little bit, because every other guy is telling her, you're pretty, you're cute, you're sexy, you're awesome physically. And I was telling her there's something inside of her that I found sexy. And I was me, and I meant it too. I really meant it. So the friend zone, the fastest way to get out of the friend zone is to take some kind of romantic risk. Tell her she's sexy. Tell her you want to kiss her if it's a date. Make it appropriate. Make some kind of move, and the chips are going to fall somewhere.
You've written that the men you coach have something called bone marrow deep anxiety. I think I got that right. And we're talking about war veterans, people who've closed billion-dollar deals, maybe. What is that moment that breaks these confident men when they see women? Like, what is that?
Yeah, I worked with a guy, I'll call him Richard. He is a firefighter in Texas, and he literally runs into burning buildings. He once fell through the floor in a kitchen, and that's just what he does. He doesn't think about it. But he couldn't turn to the woman on his right at a bar and say, "Hi, I'm Richard." He can run into a burning building, but he can't say hi to a woman. Why is that? It's because he equates talking to that woman as he's about to get a verdict back on whether or not he's attractive to women. So this bone marrow deep self-doubt is the biggest villain in dating for all people, by the way. This is not just about men and women, although I just largely specialize in coaching men. The feeling that if I talk to that woman or if I take that chance and get rejected, that will mean I'm not enough. And if I'm not enough, then maybe I'll have to end up alone or settling. Either of those are very scary outcomes. That self-doubt is really the big bad wolf here, because once you get rid of that, you can realize, hey, no matter what this woman says about me, I'm worth something. I'm a cool guy. I'm a firefighter. I have cool hobbies. I love movies and all the different things that made Richard special. We just have to change the story that tells him that a woman's quote unquote rejection means he's not enough. No, it just means that maybe she's not in the mood or has a boyfriend or isn't his type, or she's just approach her an hour later, she'll be in a better mood.
Right. It could be a number of things as to why they might not be receiving or like picking up what you're putting down necessarily.
Yeah.
Not necessarily your fault, not necessarily something wrong with you.
Right.
It's just what you said was not received, and that's it.
Yeah. In the opening chapter of my book, I talk about that first night I ever went out to approach women. Yeah. I was 38 years old. I had never approached a woman in my life. And so I hired this guy paid him $3,000 to go around 235th rooftop bar and approach women.
I know it.
Sure. 235th. And I had to excuse myself before the first approach. And I went into the bathroom stall and I had a panic attack. I started puking up stomach acid.
Wow.
And I wasn't drinking. It was essentially a panic attack. And because I was so afraid, I didn't know it at the time. I just thought, oh, butterflies. But no, this was straight up panic. I was so afraid that I was about to find out whether or not women liked this nerdy, dorky ginger who likes musical theater and doesn't have big muscles. I'm not some big badass alpha male.
Yeah, neither am I.
And so the first approach of the night, this is not in the book, so behind the scenes. But the first approach of the night, I walked up, I said, hi, I'm Connell. Nice to meet you. And she's a very pretty girl. I remember she had a cowboy hat on and she's kind of buzzed and she was polite, wasn't into me. We made small talk for a couple minutes. So how are you? Boy, doesn't the Empire State Building look nice tonight? Just like kind of lame small talk on a July night in 2009. And then she wandered away. She quote rejected me, I guess you could say. Didn't get a number.
Right.
But she wasn't mean. She was just like, hey, what's up? Okay, bye. I'm going to go to my friends now. And I remember standing there thinking, this is what I've been afraid of for 38 years.
Yeah.
Just a cute drunk chick didn't really want to talk to me for more than a minute or two. I was fine. And that was such a big moment for me. I began to realize in that moment that nobody can hurt me unless I give them permission to.
There you go.
It's all up to me.
I love that. But I think if more people heard that, what you just said.
The way you get women to like you is you are you.
Yeah.
And you talk to her.
Right.
She's going to like you for this whole package, not the words out of your mouth. Women are barely going to remember what you say.
How do you tell the difference between a guy who wants a partner and a guy who's just trying to get laid?
I don't get many guys who only want sex. And I don't judge those guys. I was in a phase in my life when I just wanted to have some variety.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
I wanted to be at Baskin Robbins instead of in a desert. Those guys usually say, well, I had one client who said, Connell, I just want to smash.
Yeah.
They're pretty direct.
Yeah.
And I have no problem with that.
It saves time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But most of the guys who resonate with my message aren't just looking for sex. In fact, if anything, I want them to be more focused on sex because they're just happy the woman smiled and was nice to him. And I'm like, well, stay
going.
Why are you talking to me?
Yeah.
She's over there with her friend. Why are you talking to me? So if anything, I'd rather have his eyes a little bit more on the prize with some of them. But I mainly get guys who just, look, I'm lonely. I want love. I want a girlfriend. I want to cook dinner on Friday night with a wonderful person. And that's a beautiful thing because that's all I do with my girlfriend.
You actually have a chapter in your book called Are You Man? I think it's called Are You Manly Enough to Be Feminine? I believe. What does that mean?
That chapter is about how most men, I would say most straight men have at least many large brushstrokes of femininity in addition to this masculine side. And that's about letting men know that you can be vulnerable, you can be sensitive, that there's this whole false paradigm that has taken off on Reddit about be an alpha male, be a boss, be a high value man. That's all that women want. I'm like, no, women want a whole selection of color palettes in a guy. Let the brushstrokes of softness come out in addition to confident male badassery because we're complex. We all have multiple sides.
Leads to my next question. I mean, do you feel like it works for gay men and gay women as well? I feel like there is a lot that transfers over in that world. I think
yes. I've coached a handful of men who are bi and I've coached a handful of women. The core thing that I teach about letting that radically authentic self come out, I think that's not even about dating. That's about how to live your life.
Yeah, that's human.
That's just human. There's only one of you. You're 1 in 8 billion. So gay, straight, wherever you may fall in that sexual spectrum, absolutely, that's so important. So there might be some variations there with gay versus straight dating, but there's a huge overlap in terms of the power of being authentic. For the men I coach, I really specialize in introverts, shy guys, quote unquote nerds. And I mean nerds with love because I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
Those are my guys.
By the way, same. I've watched the Lord of the Rings extended edition cut, director's cut, all the way through, start to finish, many, many, many times. Are we talking about 40-year-old virgins or that sort of archetype or stereotype?
Yeah. That archetype, if not that age. I've coached older versions than that. I've coached younger. I love a nerd because there's so many women out there who just want a nerd with a little bit of backbone.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of self-confidence. I was with my client, Matthias. He doesn't mind me using his name, several years ago. 5'6", 5'7", kind of chunky. Think young Jonah Hill. Kind of has that kind of look. And total nerd. And we were at a bar called Gem in the Murray Hill area.
I know it.
You know Gem?
Yes.
So we're at Gem.
I know too many of these places.
I do this thing called Wingman Weekend, where I go out and help guys approach. Another term for a boot camp. So I'm out with Matthias that night. It's his first night ever approaching, so he's really scared. And I'm standing next to this beautiful young woman, early mid-20s maybe, and I'm pointing at her. And I point my elbow toward the woman I want my clients to approach so that I'm not pointing at women the whole night. Right. So I point my elbow and he looks over at her and goes, shakes his head, no. I say, okay, let me see if I can help him. So I say, okay, what's the most honest, and I whisper in his ear, okay, that girl over there, what is the most honest, authentic, deep thing you would say to her? If you were wearing Wonder Woman's lasso of truth, what would you say to her? And he told me, I would tell her she's a total 10. She's a total 10 and I just want to meet her. I'm like, cool. So I walk over and I say, excuse me. She turns around. This middle-aged dude is talking to her.
Yeah.
I say, excuse me. That's my friend Matthias. He thinks you're a total 10 and he would just love to meet you. And she looks at me and looks at him and kind of assesses what's happening and realizes that it's all genuine, that I'm being his Cyrano de Bergerac maybe. And she kind of clutches the top of her chest like, really?
Wow.
And she looks at him, really? I'm a 10? And she lights up. He walks over because now he's gotten the green light. And 10 minutes later, they walk upstairs and they're like on, you know how there's the upstairs area? They're on an instant date. This is a guy who society would say this 5'6" chunky guy should not be with the total 10 of the bar. But he was genuine, even though I was his mouthpiece. He took that chance and she loved it. And guess what? She likes nerds.
By the way, I think the idea of someone nerdy, and that might not be what women want, quote unquote, these messages are very archaic. And I feel like everyone I talk to now, women, whomever, who are interested in men, nerdy just means you're obsessed with something.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it could be, something comic book related or whatever, but you could be a nerd about like a multitude of things.
Yeah. It means you have passion about something.
It means you're passionate. Yeah.
And passion's a very attractive emotion to bring to a dating situation.
Okay, so you can tell if two people are going to like click in the first minute, or do you think that's sort of a myth? Like when you see them on a date
when
or
I
something?
watch them?
Yeah.
Ooh, great question. Can I tell if they're going to click? I can tell if they have chemistry.
Yeah.
I can tell if they have flirtatious romantic chemistry, if they're kind of intertwining. Whether or not they'll click long-term,
Right.
all bets are off.
But you can sort of ascertain that, just from a visual and sort of read body language.
Sure.
And all
Yeah.
that.
It's not just about body language. Different people have different styles of flirting. So, for example, you might have been like this, and are you single, if I may ask?
Yeah.
Okay. So some people love to banter. They love word banter, like rom-com characters. Some people are more physical, and you sort of watch two people. If I walk up to a woman who likes a physical guy and I'm up there doing my Connell is witty and funny, she won't be into me. So I can see if two people kind of match in terms of how they like to flirt, because we want to match their flirting styles. That's really what chemistry can help chemistry take off.
Because it's the energy that you want to match at the end of the day.
Yes. Because people typically want to flirt on the same wavelength. It's a little bit like love languages, but it's about flirting.
There's this tactic people talk about mirroring. And I hate using like interviewing as like, all that, because, we don't want to be in interview mode on a date necessarily. But is that what you're sort of referring to?
No, I don't really subscribe to quote mirroring. I don't say it's bad, but I've read that tip in men's magazines for 25 years.
Right.
Mirror her body language, written by some dateless middle-aged magazine editor who doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a big mirroring person. It's chemistry is mystical, a little bit magical, but you can sort of understand how a woman likes to flirt. And if you can tell she likes your banter, your jokes, you just do more of it.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't, then stop doing that and try something different.
Try something else.
Yeah.
Quick heads up to everyone listening, because we're about to talk about the new movie Obsession. And if you have not seen it and you care about spoilers, you might want to skip ahead just a couple minutes. So people online are calling it like a very sharp take, maybe the sharpest take on this nice guy archetype.
I don't like the beating that nice guys get. I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think maybe the better word is kind.
Yes.
I think women want kind.
Yeah, because it's that old saying, nice guys finish last, but that's
Right.
not necessarily true either.
But I'm nice. I mean, I volunteer. I help little old ladies cross the street. I was raised by two nice parents in Ohio. I'm a nice guy.
Yeah.
However,
Nothing wrong with any of those things.
when I'm in a relationship, but if I was single, one of the nicest things I can do is make a woman feel sexy. One of the nicest, kindest things you can do is make a woman laugh, is try to make her day or night better. So I don't like this idea that, don't be a nice guy. I say be kind, have nice manners, but at the same time, you want to take some romantic risks. We have to take romantic risks. If I could take everything I teach and put it into maybe one sentence, it would be take courageous, authentic, romantic risks every day.
Yeah.
You gotta say the thing that scares you. I don't know much about the movie other than I love horror movies and want to see it. But it sounds like the main character didn't do that and he used spells to cheat, right?
Essentially, that's the idea, is that I think there have been a lot of guys who have been afraid to approach like this dream woman or whomever that might be, who they would love to like return the favor feelings wise, but they don't get it. So that's what he does.
Yeah.
It does put this type of person in the spotlight, and I think is very relatable to a lot of people out there who've been rejected before.
Yeah. If anything, it sounds like he is a guy who I'm going to try to find this quote unquote spell on Reddit.
Yeah.
Or some toxic pickup dude. Use my blah, blah, blah bullshit method that makes a woman.
Snake charmer type of,
the neg.
Or snake oil salesman.
Right.
I mean, that's what I meant. Yeah.
And it sounds like the the problem is not the nice guy. In this case, it sounds like, well, I'm afraid I'm going to get rejected for who I am. So I'm going to use this trick. And what I would say to you is a woman who you barely know, you're approaching her or asking her out, she can't reject you. She doesn't know you well enough.
Yeah.
She might say, no, thanks, you're not my type. But look, if my girlfriend Jess set me aside tonight and said, Connell, I'm dumping you. Your penis is 2 inches long. You're unsuccessful and I'm so bored with you. Okay, I just got pretty harshly rejected. And I'll meet you for a real drink. We'll talk about it. That's rejection.
But none of those things are true.
Thank you.
So,
but if a woman at a bar doesn't want to talk to you or says, hey, even after a first date, hey, I'm just not feeling it. She's not saying you're not enough. Mm-hmm. She's saying you're not my type, or you didn't make me feel the way I want to feel.
I think that once you nail that, the next question people think is, okay, like now I know how to feel correctly, in my own skin and myself. Now I just want to implement all the actions with that feeling, that newfound feeling of confidence after that, right?
That's when it gets fun.
Yeah. So I've also read, plenty on the internet about what makes a good first date, what's an ideal second date. What in your eyes is like the proper cadence, as far as how long should a first date be? What kind of environment is ideal for that when you're just kind of starting to get to know someone?
I recorded something today. I haven't posted it yet. So I'll give it to you here first.
Okay.
I was recording a video today and I said, you know what you should do for your next first date? Blow it up. Blow up the date. And what do I mean by that? I had a date once with a woman named Natalie. This is many years ago. And I said, you know what? I'm sick of all the first date questions. Where are you from? What do you do? Let's skip the small talk. Here's a rule for tonight's date, I told her. We cannot ask each other a single question we've ever asked on another date. That's the first rule. The second rule, no lying. We're both wearing Wonder Woman's lasso of truth. And the third rule is we can't try to get the other person to like them. Just fucking tell the truth. She's like, I'm in. She high-fived me. Yeah. And I'm like, cool. Well, what the hell do we talk about?
Yeah, where do we go from here?
And she said, when was the last time you cried? And I said, my cousin Vinny at the end, when they win the case. I just get emotional for some reason.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I love it. Oh my God.
And then I asked
her.
I've
seen that movie 100 times, by the way.
And so all of a sudden we had to force ourselves to ask actual questions we cared about instead of the first date things we thought we were supposed to do. And then I said, who do you want to punch more than anybody? And she's like, Ted Mosby. Not the actor, but the character Ted Mosby from How I Met Your Mother. She's like, I want to punch him.
Yeah.
And then she said, have you ever cheated on somebody? And I was like, shit, I just had to bring this game. And I said, honestly, yeah, I did cheat on a girlfriend at the time. And her reaction was fascinating. She did this interesting thing. She pulled back emotionally as if, oh my gosh, can I trust this guy? But leaned forward physically.
Yeah.
It was like this bracing moment. Of, wow, this guy's actually telling me the truth. Can I trust him?
Because society's saying if you come across someone who does that, you pull back. But you're in that moment and you want to understand really what's happening more as an adult.
I'd never been that honest on a date before, I don't think. And so long story short, the date ends, we kissed, it went really well. She texted me something really beautiful that night. She said, I have this floaty feeling. I've never had a date like that before. And we dated for she didn't become my relationship. But the reason I thought of this when you asked that question is you don't need to go full on and do a full date where you play this elaborate game like I did with her, but you do want to try to break the pattern of what women are used to and do something very different that is just not another typical drinks. How are you, how are you? What do you do? Where are you from? Do something, do one, throw one wrench in every date. Play a fun game, play a staring contest. To me, flirting is one word. It's play. Flirting is play. Whether it's G-rated or X-rated, why they call it a play party, because it's play.
Right.
But flirting is defined as playing at love in the dictionary. It should be light and playful. So bring something playful to the date to do or talk about or have fun. And if you do that, it doesn't really matter where you go and what you do. She will feel, or at least you're giving her a really good chance to feel, oh, this nice, fun, real, playful vibe with this guy. And that's what flirting comes down to. So I wouldn't worry so much about what you do on a date. Activities are overrated. The thing you do is overrated. vehicle. It's just a vehicle. Any date is just a vehicle for two people to see if they romantically connect. But the best way to romantically connect, to open those two sides of you up, is to make it playful. Play's the thing.
That it feels safe across the board.
Right.
And being vulnerable and being your authentic, radically authentic self is fair game.
Yeah. And by the way, we talked about interview mode earlier.
Yeah.
If I can be a little nerdy coach with you.
Yeah.
Hot take. I like interview mode as long as it's a good interview.
Yeah.
Ask her questions.
How's this one?
Great.
Okay,
Great.
Cool.
I would absolutely take you out on a second date.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So don't be afraid. I know earlier I was saying beware of interview mode. I don't give a fuck about interview mode. I give a fuck when it's 5 straight logical informational questions.
Yeah.
That's interview mode that you want to avoid.
That don't really say anything about you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't interrogate her, but ask her interesting questions. Mm-hmm. The old saw, right? If you want to be interesting, be interested. That's not bad. So you can break any of these rules. You can break them. You can interview as long as they're good questions.
I wanted to actually, before we get to the end, I want to talk about some of these dating rules, and you can either keep them, you can kill them, or you can sort of rewrite them. Yeah.
Oh, great. Go.
Yeah. Because and obviously there's some are meant to be broken. Okay, so I'll just read them out, and you can tell me how you feel about them.
I'll swipe left or right on them.
You could swipe left or right. Okay. Dating multiple people at once before you commit.
Oh, I'll swipe right on that.
Yeah.
As long as you're honest with everybody or not dishonest, sure.
Yeah. First date should be under 90 minutes.
No, swipe left.
Yeah.
Be as long as or as short as you both want.
Right. But if someone's I've usually approached first dates as you're just starting to get to know someone. You don't have to commit. Maybe I would rewrite and say, you don't have to commit to X period of time, like the first night, and like see how it goes. But you don't overcommit to a 3-hour block or something like that. You don't have to.
The tip I give my guys would be make it easy for her to say yes to the date by framing it as something that'll be short and fun and quick. Mm-hmm. And then if it keeps going, great.
Men should pay on dates.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that.
Yeah.
I'm old school. I'm a time traveler from the 19th century. I like it's nice to treat.
The biggest question I get, by the way, about like my dating life is who pays the bill.
Really?
Yeah. Like from all straight people, they're like, who pays the bill? Who pays the bill?
I'm not dogmatic about it, insisting, but I like to politely insist.
Yeah.
And if she pushes back and says, no, I really want to contribute, then absolutely, that's fine.
Yeah.
There's something kind of warm and nice about maybe going first and taking turns.
Yeah. By the way, I completely agree. And that's how I approach it. Usually I just assume like I'm, contributing, I'm happy to, and that maybe just me being generous in this type of social situation. But unless someone really insists or pushes back, whatever, then that's a conversation.
There are certain old school gender rules and norms that I think are still nice. And that's one of them I still like.
Waiting 3 dates to sleep with someone.
Nah.
Yeah.
Whenever you and she are both ready, willing, and able, it can be date 1. It can be date 101.
Yeah. If they have not asked you out again within 3 to 5 days, they're not interested.
No, that's not true.
Yeah.
I advise you, again, I'm mainly talking to men. I say, ask her out if and when you want to. And not only should you not wait, I like a guy to ask her out for the second date before the first date's over.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I like
You could
that.
even say, pick a high point during the first date, and you can say, oh my God, you know what we should do for our second date? You like karaoke? Oh man, we should do Don't Go Breaking My Heart. We will crush it. Are you up for it next Thursday? It's like, I did that with my now friend.
I was just going to say, this sounds like something you actually did.
I'm sure I have.
Yeah.
I went on a lot of dates.
Yeah.
The iron's hot. She's liking you. And it shows that intentionality that women tend to like. I think it's just a great signal to send. You don't have to do that, but no time like the present.
Yeah. If they do not post you on social media, they're hiding you.
I'm not on social enough to comment other than for my business.
Yeah.
I would just ignore all social media. Just take all the data out. It gets you in your head.
Okay. We call too many things love bombing now.
Maybe. What are some things that are love bombing?
Let's say that you and somebody else, you start dating and they're going pretty hard and fast for like that first couple of weeks that you're seeing each other. They're sending you good morning and good evening texts. They're saying on dates like, oh, you'll meet this person, we'll do this, we'll do that, as if you're almost auditioning for a role without even realizing it. And then suddenly they go, cold, totally cold, like for X amount of days after. And it's almost like they pulled the plug out that they plugged in the first place and then dropped the bomb.
They love bomb and then they go quiet.
Yeah. It's like they breadcrumb you and then emotional terrorist.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I shouldn't say never. I rarely dealt with that.
Oh.
I know it still happens.
Consider yourself lucky.
Well, I dealt with just about everything. I probably did it and we didn't know what to call it.
Yeah.
Back when I was doing it.
Third date is when you decide if it's a real promising engagement.
There's truth in that, but
again, the number is not the actual.
Yeah, it's everybody's different. When I met my girlfriend Jess, I thought this will be a fun hookup. She's a fun manic pixie dream girl vibe on her profile. And she walks into the date and within 5 minutes I said, I think I want her to be my girlfriend. I wasn't going to propose that night, but I changed how I saw things. So I think if you've been on enough dates, and I had at that point, your gut will tell you a lot before date number 3.
Yeah. What about situationships? I would say the last one on here is situationships are honest. They're just dating without the title.
I'm cool with that. Again, it's all about transparency, mutual, and being on the same page.
Yeah.
If you both want that, then that's fine. If one of you wants a relationship and the other is settling for the situationship, that could be a problem. And you might want to figure that out together. But if both people are on the same page, that's fine.
Yeah. As long as they're open and you're both communicating about what you actually want, and then that's what's happening in real life, then if there's alignment, then you're good.
Yes, as long as you're both on the same page and feel roughly like you're moving at the same rate of speed, roughly. If one person's going fast and the other's like, whoa, slow down, that's going to cause a problem.
Right. But that could also just be a conversation as well.
Yeah.
Right? Where you're like, hey, this might be moving too fast. This is what I'm comfortable with. This is what I want to do. Can we slow this down?
Right.
And can you meet me where I'm at?
Right. It's a cliche, but just communication, being vulnerable enough to say, here's how I feel about this and us. How do you feel right now? And just talking about it can help you both get on that same page.
We have one more part of the episode that I love to do, and I do it with every single one of my guests. Today we're drinking Athletic Brewing. They're actually my first, partner and affiliate, and they're great. They taste like alcoholic beer, but they're not. I love having a moment to be grateful, at the end with every single one of my guests, because you've done so many amazing things in your life. You still seem to have plenty more to do.
Thank you.
And you're inspiring confidence in a lot of people who are really just trying to find it in themselves, and probably don't even know that they have any in the first place.
Exactly. Well, it's great that we're about to drink non-alcoholic beer because I'm a big believer in your dating life, for a guy who wants to go out and take chances, you don't need liquid courage. You need actual courage. And the alcohol is optional.
I like that. So I have a toast prepared, but you give me whichever one you think is most appropriate here to telling the truth before you flirt with anyone, including yourself.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Great meeting you, sir.